Amazing Grace. And Jesus, I sing for all that you have done for me. Good evening. I'm Pastor Sherry Colby, the senior pastor here at Victory Worship Center, and also the host of Amazing Grace. And tonight, I know I always say they're spectacular, they're so amazing, but I'm very excited, as always, for my guest tonight, a young man that I've known him when he was in his mother's womb. And I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go. So I welcome you, Armando Maldonado. Isn't he cute, too?
Thank you for having me.
You are. You're such a good-looking boy. You've always been a good-looking boy. How old are you?
19.
19 years old. Oh, my gosh. Boy, time flies. Time really flies. And you'll understand that when you get a little bit older. Well, I will tell you more about Armando in just a little bit, but they call him Mondo for short. So Mondo, we always do a quote. And this quote tonight is from Coach Broner, from my sister Kathy, of course. She is 10, 20, 30 a week, all right, to keep up with them. But anyway, the quote tonight is, if you're trying to be what people want you to be, then who will you be? Okay, I'm going to say that again. If you're trying to be what people want you to be, then who will be you? All right? Now, you think about that. Do you ever get to a place that you feel like, you know, I'm trying to please everybody? And
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I can tell that that's your personality.
Especially with this, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you didn't want to do this?
I mean, no, I wanted to do it, but, you know, it was not really used to talking on camera, so.
Okay, it's not, but you did it because I expected you to do it.
Of course.
All right, but I'm talking too about things like, you know, maybe you have plans and dreams and then you're trying to fulfill other people's plans and dreams for you because you think that's what you're supposed to do, when really maybe that's not God's plan for you.
Yeah, when I was younger, I started playing football, and that's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
All right, in time. All right. Well, as I said in the beginning, Armando is an incredible young man. He actually works on our media team. He operates one of the cameras when he's not at work. But we're really glad you finally got a job, so that's good. But Publix, please let him have Sunday mornings off, okay? That would be really wonderful in the name of Jesus. All right, but people might not know that not only was he raised in this church, but at about 12 years old, did you start working in the nursery?
Yeah, 13, I think.
12 or 13, okay.
Yeah.
And he's 19. Well, he was back there for many, many years. And I'm telling you, because I know with my grandkids, and my oldest granddaughter is 13 now, they love to come to church just to see Armando because he was fun. You were one of the best nursery workers we've ever had. How many Good Fridays did you miss? Christmas Eve services did you miss?
Yeah.
Because you were serving. And that's one thing I noticed about you from a very young age. You had such a heart to serve, and you don't see that. And not only did you have a heart to serve, and everybody loved you, but you were so dependable. If you gave your word to do something, you did it.
Do it, yep.
So I never worried about, was Armando going to show up? Is he going to have an excuse? You made it a point to always do the job. So I want to say thank you. You might have forgotten that. You know, I may have forgotten that you had served us for so many years, but you were just so amazing. And I thank you for what you imparted in my grandkids' lives. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to start our journey with you and why I wanted you to be here tonight. All right? First of all, we were told your grandmother came, and, you know, like I said, this is 19 years ago in 9 months, okay? Your grandmother found out that her son was going to have a child and didn't know what that meant. Didn't know what did that mean for the future, how was this going to pan out, and, you know, a few of us have been in those situations where, you know, you didn't know if there was going to be a marriage, not a marriage, and she came into on a Tuesday experience, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we have a service every Tuesday at 7 o'clock called the Tuesday Experience, and just the power of God moves, and it's a strong prophetic night. And the Lord began to prophesy about you. You weren't born yet, but he began to prophesy to your grandmother that this child would be incredible, that this child was purposed to be born, that this child would be such a blessing in her life, and that she would take on the role of a mother. And so we didn't understand what that meant. Maybe her child's already grown. She's like, what do you mean? I'm going to start all over? And I think you were worth it though, okay? And everything that the Lord had said that day panned out. as we watch the journey of your life. And you know, like I said earlier, I can still see you sitting there on the Tuesday night just worshiping. And so tell me a little bit about your relationship with your grandmother today.
Where do I even start though? I don't know. I guess when I came back from Iowa, that's really my only really family, her and my grandpa. So she's been my mother pretty much since my mother hasn't really been around too much.
Yeah, you gotta talk up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't touch it.
Oh.
Don't. Hey, you work a camera. You should know that.
But yeah, so since I came back from Iowa, she's kind of always been my mother, pretty much. I consider her my mother, no matter, you know.
Right. So she raised you, and then you went away to be actually with your real birth mother for 2 years, was it?
Not really. Well, it started off, I used to live with both my mom and dad in a little apartment. After some stuff happened, my dad, unfortunately went to prison. That's when I moved to Iowa, yeah. And I came after, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
I think it was.
but do you know that when you left, the Lord, again, prophetically said to, the Lord spoke on that Tuesday night to your grandmother, said, He will be back. And so we knew that it was just a matter of time, that it was God's design for you to be under the wing of your grandmother and your grandfather. I know you're just as close to. And so here you said you have this amazing relationship. And so as it was prophesied that you would be like a son to your grandmother, and we've watched this, I see such a strong bond. And as you mentioned, you went through a few things. Your dad, just made a silly mistake. It was really kind of a silly mistake, all right? Yeah. And he had to go away. For how long did he go?
I think it was 7 years.
Was
3?
it that long?
Oh, was it really?
3 years? Okay, 3 years and 2 years probation. And that was a hard time for you. I can remember even your grandmother, things were tight back then, and she wanted to make sure you were supplied with the things that you needed, and I would see how she'd go above and beyond to do whatever she could. And then in the meantime, it's her son that's in prison, but the Lord really spoke to him during that time in prison. So God can always use something that's not good and turn it into a good thing. And so you lived with your mom for this short time. Why did you come back?
It was supposed to be actually for a break. I think it was only be for a week, and then for some reason, I got the feeling to just not go back. I don't know. My mom, she never told me. I think later on she told me that she kind of wanted to keep me there in Florida because it was just better. Because when I used to live in Iowa, I wasn't really going to school, and I was 9 years old. I was skipping school. I was doing stuff I shouldn't have supposed to.
So you didn't have a lot of structure.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I was kind of just free roaming, honestly, just doing what I wanted to do. And then when I came here, I think it was late December or January, and then from there I kind of just stayed here. And I started school really late, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what was it like for you to know that your father was taken away, and then, you were with your mom for a few years, but pretty much the relationship then is not much of a relationship?
I mean, we were close up when I used to live up there. We were, it was pretty, we're kind of close. It was a big house, so a lot of us kind of stayed with a lot of people that stayed in the house. So me and her were always really close. It's just once I moved, I think that's where
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The relationship kind of
Drifted off.
Drifted off.
For sure.
And how did that make you feel as a son?
Just confused, I guess. I wasn't really, I was 12, 13, I really didn't know until I think 14, 15, I kind of understand that, maybe I thought she didn't want me personally,
Right.
the typical thing you probably think when you're in that situation. But, yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay. And did you ever question God through that process? Because I know you had a relationship before you left.
I think probably as soon as I got there, I started questioning everything. It was kind of, I didn't go to church or nothing. It was kind of just, I was just doing my own thing at a really young
So you went
age.
from being saturated in church to
just,
nothing.
Yeah, just by myself, just trying to figure things out, or, following my uncles, cousins, watching what they're doing. Obviously, they weren't doing good things, but yeah.
So the Lord had to get you back.
For sure, 100%.
Okay. All right. So what's your relationship like with your mom and your dad today?
Me and my dad were close. He comes over probably once a week.
Because you're back living with your grandma.
Yeah, I live with my grandma now. But my mom, we talk here and there. It's not consistent. She came down a few years ago. I think you remember that when she was here. But Yeah.
What have you learned from that experience in your life as you look towards your future and having a family?
Not to rush it. That's one thing. Not to, just jump into some, another situation or a relationship that's not, it's not, I guess, meant for me, or you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
I said, what have you learned from, seeing what having a mom in your life and then not having a mom in your life and then having your dad part of your life and then kind of in and out?
Kind of felt like I kind of had to raise myself, kind of. I just kind of like whatever you've seen, that's kind of like, oh, maybe I should, do that, or I kind of just influenced by whatever I was around at the time.
But what does that mean for your future? Like what I'm saying is, what have you learned from your experiences in life that you don't want repeated in your future?
I don't know, because I think every experience you take, you should. It's meant to take it, I guess. It's not. I really can't answer that question. I'm sorry.
All right. So let's talk about one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is you were a 2020 graduate from Lake Worth High School. All right. In the midst of COVID hits, and it's your senior year. Now we're going to back up a little bit because, as you were trying to refer to earlier when I asked you the question, at a very young age you were a star football player. Because I can remember your grandmother having to get you to practice, all right? And she would get you there and she would give us the reports that you won another game. And so you went from being a star football player to going to Lake Worth High, and you're a freshman, and they asked you to what next?
Played on the varsity team? Yeah.
Play on the varsity team as a freshman, which is a big thing. That's saying you're pretty good. What position did you play?
Receiver. Yeah.
Would you have to say you were good?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's
I don't like to both, I guess.
No, I know that's why I want to hear you say it.
Yeah.
Okay, we know you were very, very good. All right, but so you play I guess we're not supposed to say freshman anymore. Did you know that? They're trying. Penn State just changed it. No more can you say freshman or sophomore. Those words are degrading or whatever. The new rule now is you have to say first year, second year.
I think that's how a lot of international schools do it, I think.
Yeah. And then you can't say he or she.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Penn State, I heard that's their rule that they did yesterday. Oh, Lord, what's happening next, right? Okay, so here you are, a star football player, and it comes to your senior year, and what happened?
I think junior, sophomore year, I kind of just lost passion for the game. It kind of felt like I was doing it for everybody else. Like everyone, they kind of knew, like, oh, you're good at football, you should keep pursuing it. And I kind of like, yeah, I like it, but I think when I was in middle school, I started playing volleyball as well. So I kind of like had to pick between, do I want to do volleyball, do I want to do football? And that was kind of like, really hard decision to make because my dad, he was nothing but football. He always pushed me to play football. So
kind of like one of those, like we said earlier, that this coach was saying, you were trying to please everybody else.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to go to your family and say, okay, I've decided I'm not going to pursue this?
Well, my dad definitely, yeah, he was just like, what do you mean? But I just didn't want to play anymore. I wasn't gonna let him say, oh, you should keep doing it. If I didn't want to play, I just didn't want to play.
Okay,
yeah. And
so I think early on people thought, well, you possibly could go someplace, but that's not what you wanted in your life.
Yeah.
What would you say your goals are today?
Now I've been applying for schools, trying to get into actually for volleyball. So hopefully that goes through. But if I can get on a team for volleyball for college, that's kind of the ideal plan.
Are you good?
Now. I think so.
Okay, as good as you were at football?
Not yet. Not yet. Definitely needs more development, but I think I'm pretty decent.
Okay, so now it's your senior year, and COVID hits. And so you're the first year of no school.
Yeah, that was.
Tell us what it was like to have, knowing that, first of all, there'd be no prom.
I mean, that kind of stuff I really didn't care for. The road, like a trip, it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. I really didn't want to go to it, honestly, personally. It wasn't really my kind of thing. But
maybe there was some girl out there who really wanted you to ask her. For the last 4 years in school, they would say, I wish that Armando, that good-looking Armando, would ask me to prom.
Nah, no, but what really was unfortunate was our volleyball season got canceled, obviously, during the middle of the season. So all the
volleyball
film,
got stopped.
Yeah, so all the film that was supposed to have to send us to coaches and stuff. Obviously, all I had was just sophomore year. So and the few games we played in the beginning, it was maybe 3 or 4 games. So
you lost out on your chances of possibly
going to school for
going to
volleyball,
school.
yeah.
All right. So was that heartbreaking?
Definitely, because I found myself just sitting at home for the next 5 months, watching my sister. I couldn't really go to work. My job was closed, so it was what am I supposed to do?
So there you are. You don't have your job. Where were you working?
JCPenney's.
Oh yeah, that's right, JCPenney. So you lost the job. Now you got to babysit 24/7.
Pretty much, yeah. I was for at least 4 months until September. That's when I started working at Public. September, October.
Okay, so here you are. How did COVID affect the relationships in your life?
Definitely a lot. I guess you kind of see who was really, really your friend. A lot of people I don't talk to anymore. I don't really talk to people from my school often at all. One people I really talk to, I think you remember Behringer, right? He's really been a Behringer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Me and him talk all the time.
Right, you go to the same school?
No, we don't go to this. He used to go to Park Vista.
Right, Park Vista. I mean, he
But
was
now,
a star.
I just see him because he plays volleyball too. He's really good volleyball.
As a matter of fact, it's so funny you'd bring Behringer up because I thought about when we first started Amazing Grace to have both of you on the show at the same time.
That's funny.
Because he, too, I mean, he was a star. And, he was on the news and everything for volleyball, and then it's gone.
Yeah, he plays beach now, professionally, but he's been helping me out a lot. We've been talking.
Okay, can somebody go out there and tell them to stop playing basketball? They're hitting the walls. Okay, if you're watching live, we have a basketball net in the back of the church, and somebody's playing basketball. All right, and well, that's good. You kind of have someone you can partner with that.
Yeah.
When you think about COVID and what it did to you, what are your friends around you, have they said about all this?
It's a mixture. I mean, when you go on social media, it's always going to be oh, it's not real, it's a bluff, but you obviously have people dying every day, so it's kind of you know how social media is. They blow it out of proportion a lot of the times.
But in your relationship, if it's affected you, did you, like you said earlier, you feel like you found out who your real friends were? But I mean, to be socially, I can't imagine being 18 years old and socially everything's ripped away.
Yeah.
Whether it be sports, whether it be hanging out with your friends, that sort of thing. That, to me, I can't even fathom that.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't go out much. I wasn't really a person who hanged out all the time.
So you're boring? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay, Armando's boring. All right.
No. But I'm I'm a stay-at-home person most of the time, or if I'm not, I'm working out or doing something like that. But it definitely affected it. It kind of just made it feel like even if you wanted to go outside, you couldn't.
Right.
You're forced to stay inside. So
not only can you not play volleyball, if you went to prom or not, but anyway, that poor girl who had been waiting for you to ask her, you'll worry about her. Okay, but what about graduation?
I got my diploma, so I'm happy. Honestly, I wasn't really too big about walking across. I just wanted to get out of there. I really didn't like high school. High school wasn't for me.
I didn't like high school either.
High school.
I didn't like, people always say, high school experience. I didn't like high school either.
Maybe it was just my school, I don't know.
Even though I was active in cheerleading and I was all that, but I don't know. I loved middle school, we called junior high. But, okay, so you're kind of telling me that COVID didn't affect you at all?
Not really.
Why did I have you on the show?
Right.
So your plans, what would you like to do with your future now?
Probably go to school if I can play volleyball again.
I know, but volleyball might not be your whole life challenge. Do you have some other dreams besides volleyball?
No, I kind of like to stay, focus on right now. I don't really like to go too far ahead of the future. Like if I lose track of right now,
So you don't think about, I'd like to be a doctor or?
Not a doctor.
I want to be something different.
I kind of just go with the flow. I don't like to make too much plan. If you feel like you plan, you kind of just throw off what's meant to happen, So I kind of just like to stay present, stay in the moment, whatever happens.
Okay, well, can you make a living in volleyball?
If I needed to, the Lord's going to provide somehow.
Okay, well that's
But if
interesting.
not, probably if I go to school, I like to study. Honestly, I kind of like to want to work internationally, like with other kids, maybe help teach them English or teach them volleyball. You know,
Okay.
I've always been good with kids.
You're great with kids.
So helping.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting when you have a natural gifting. You know, God uses our natural giftings it's just as much as He uses our spiritual giftings. And yes, you've always been, you know, fantastic with kids, and they relate to you. And a lot of things is you're fun, but you're very compassionate. You're very caring and kind. And so you finally get a job at Publix.
Yes.
And you're over there in the produce department. I see you a lot. And so it's good. I can always know that I'm going to see a friendly face over there at Publix. But that's not your goal to stay there.
Oh no, definitely not.
Well, maybe Pastor Craig said that too, and it's 40 years later, it's still there in the produce department.
Yeah, I mean, I like Publix. It's nice, but you know, a lot of times I'm doing the work myself. You know, I'm taking a lot of the work. And,
Yeah.
You know, especially how pay is right now. It's not.
Okay.
Don't want to be there forever.
Has there been, besides your grandmother, has there been people in your life that have really mentored you?
Vanderbilt's gave some good tips. I'm not gonna lie. Vanderbilt's
Who?
great. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Of course. But
How much older is Vanderbilt than you? He's one of our media team too, if you're watching us.
I don't even know. How old are you, Vandy? 23. He's
23?
3 years, 4 years older.
Oh yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, he's a great guy too. We have some amazing people here at Victory. All right, and I know you were under Pastor Craig for a lot of years too.
Yeah, it's Pastor Craig, of course.
And I'm going to kill that person that keeps playing basketball in the back. Okay. So you have people in your life that you're able to call or.
If I ever needed, but personally, maybe I'm just like this. I always try to take things on myself. That's probably like a lot of the times where if I ever like get off track with God or whatever the case may be, it's because I'm trying to put too much on myself for sure.
All right, let's talk about your relationship with the Lord. All right. I know you gave. How old were you when you gave your life to the Lord?
I was too young to remember. I don't know. I was 5, 6.
Okay. Now, a lot of people think, oh, they can't, but a lot of us have accepted Christ at a very young age. And what is your walk like today with Him?
Right now, it definitely has been stronger than it was last year. For sure, last year was really obviously it was
Crazy.
probably the worst it's ever been, for sure.
Well, how did you get back into your walk?
Coming back to church, living with my grandma for sure. That's probably just the presence.
Right.
It's always different.
Yeah, she's like walking with Jesus, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
She's an incredible woman.
I know.
You're so blessed to have her. I mean, we're blessed to have her at Victory also. She's a deacon and just so steadfast. And I've seen her go through some really rough times, but she perseveres, and she's just an absolutely incredible person. She's an encourager for me a lot, too. So I can't even imagine if she was my grandma. If you could change anything in your life that you've been through, what would it be?
Probably going to school at Lake Worth, honestly. I think, because, Lake Worth wasn't really a volleyball-based school. It was more football.
Okay.
Or just academically, too. It wasn't really. I think I could have made a better decision, went to a different school.
Well, can you do that? Oh.
You transferred mid-year. I was thinking about transferring right after my freshman year. And
What school do you wish you would have gone to?
Well, it was going to be Park Vista. It was going to be Park Vista or Santa Lucia's, one of those two. But, I got in a relationship, stuff like that. And
Oh, you had a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, they always mess things up, don't they?
Nah.
How come we never knew you had a girlfriend?
I don't talk much.
Yeah, you don't. So, so you're in a relationship, and that's why you stayed at Lake Worth.
Pretty much. I think that's probably my reason. I can probably say, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's why you didn't want to go to prom.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's just amazing to watch your journey in life, and what a blessing you've been to your grandmother and to so many people. You're just a great young man, and I appreciate that you were willing even to come on this show, because I know it's not easy when someone asks you to do this.
Yeah, these lights are like making me feel uncomfortable.
No, you feel like you're a star,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
So yeah, you're used to being behind the camera, so it's a little different to come in front of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Okay. What is your favorite story in the Bible?
Not the one with, I could say David and Goliath, obviously, but I think probably the one that I can't think, it's a story that Pastor Craig told us a while ago, and I can't think of it right now.
Oh, it really made an impact on you.
No, but I'm trying to think which one it was. Was it the one that you brought up? I think it was last Sunday. It was when
With the baseball?
That's a baseball. I can't remember. The guy got thrown in the well from his brothers.
Oh, I preached that one.
That's the one you preach, right?
Yeah.
I think I was here when you preached that, and I kind of I like that story. I went to go on and read it after.
Because you see all the journey that he went through and all the heartache he went through, but in the end, it was all a preparation for him to be in the right position at the right time. And you know, you've gone through some rough things, but if we can learn from every experience that we've taken, and from the great times to the bad times, and then we're able to mold our life as we go on. So we go back to what the enemy meant for harm, the Lord will use for good. So even though you know, pretty much you lived with your mom for a short time, and then you get those abandonment feelings. Then your dad was taken away from you for a few years, and but God will use those situations in your life to change somebody else's life, and that's what's the incredible thing about the journey of life. Is we're not promised it's going to be easy, but God will use everything that we've gone through to help somebody else and to make you a better father, a better husband, and those the things that you have to look to in the future. Do you want to be married?
Right now, no.
No, I didn't say today.
I mean, even later on, I'm not even thinking about none of that stuff.
So it's not something in your heart, like you want to be married?
Not at all, no.
Why?
I just.
Why do you think of marriage?
It's cool. I'm just right now. I've probably been the most whole I've been in a while, so I'm just content with myself.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So I can't really even think about marriage.
So you never have said, in my future I'd like to be married and have kids?
I mean, I think
You've had enough kids, you've taken care of
right.
so long?
No.
I see. Well, that's interesting. You're just going to take one day at a time. Happy New Day. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we just want to encourage everybody that you are a 2020 graduate, that just use that time, use that situation for your future. Don't let it keep you bogged down. Don't let resentment rise up that, why God, why did this have to happen? Maybe he was sparing you from something. I want to let you know that next week on Amazing Grace, and we're going to have Naomi Swartz on. And Naomi is a 14-year-old young lady who's raised here at Victory, and she's very sick. She needs a bone marrow transplant immediately. She suffers with plastic anemia and also PNH. Each one of those on its own are fatal. And to be diagnosed with both of them at the same time, they need a miracle. And because she's half Hispanic and half Caucasian, it makes it only a 15% that she can find a match. There's no match in the donor bank right now. They're doing a big drive on June 5th on Be the Match in Royal Palm Beach Elementary School, and you can find it on Facebook. And we're all wearing these bracelets. Naomi's strong, so we're praying for her each and every day. So I would, what I'd like to find out is to tell you next week she's not on the show because they found a match. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about, her having to face what possibly could happen to her. And she's an incredible young woman. You know Naomi, right? Yeah. So tell somebody about Jesus this week. Share Amazing Grace. We wish you the best. God is faithful. God is good. We have the Thursday chat at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock sharp on Facebook. So tune in for your word of encouragement. We ask that you would share Amazing Grace, you would share the chat, and come and be with us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. And if you live out of state or still not able to come back because of COVID, you can watch us on live stream. God bless, and tell somebody about Jesus' Amazing Grace.